Hi, hello, Wagwan. Welcome to another episode of The Group Chat. Today in the group chat, I have a very special friend of mine. We've been friends for years. Before we had kids, and her name is Yanique.
Hey guys.
And to get us started, I'm going to have Yanique share a little story about how we met to kind of give you guys some background and get to know Yanique a little bit.
Well, I would say I might have to get my age with this. I was 17 years old when we met.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was friends with your mom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was a shampoo girl in the same salon that your mom was working in. And that's really how I got close with your mom. And then, you were there and we just start vibing. We got close. And our history kind of just went on from there. Like, we have the friendship that actually lasts where we don't have to talk to each other every day, but we know we good and we know we're there whenever we need each other. So yeah, that's really, it's just a short version of it. Yeah.
So pretty much like a family friend. So starting off with my mom's friend. So shout out to mom.
Yeah.
And now we're closer than my mom, or than you
were. Don't show shade. You're ready to give me
she knows it's all love. Which is like one of the greatest things too about friendship is like knowing that, we can say certain things, we can joke about certain things and know that there's no ill intent.
That's true.
Right. So even if I was to say something that did offend you or offended my mom, she knows I love her. I love you. Exactly. And let that be a lesson to you guys, because there's a lot of friendships out here where, someone will say something and you'll be offended, and then all of a sudden you want to drop that friend. When you have to think, like, did that friend really care about you? And if you knew that friend cared about you, then you wouldn't be offended too much, right? You have the right to be offended, but not to the point where you're like, oh, that person does not care about me for real. Yeah. Unless they don't. But that's a different story and a different topic for another day. Exactly. So now to jump into the topic that we have for today, we'll be talking about masculine and feminine energy when it comes on to dating. Of course, from the perspective of women, because that's who we are. And we can't really say too much from, the men perspective. Now, a bit about our backgrounds. We were both born and raised in Jamaica.
Yep.
And that has shaped who we are, like, tremendously. So navigating America has been a bit challenging. And so we're going to talk about the aspects of those challenges via dating. Now, being born and raised in Jamaica, right? We were taught how to be strong, independent women. How do you think that has shaped the way you approach relationships and dating?
Ooh, that is one of the hardest thing I'll say, because of the fact that we were raised to like not depend on no one. Like, especially with the women, we were raised to like be strong, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, always we were raised to like outdo everybody in a sense. So it's kind of, when it comes to dating, different depending on the cultural difference and the cultural background, it kind of put a strain. Hence, like my relationship, it does put a strain, because it's like the way he see things with how his father raised him, and with the Southern, and then with me with my Caribbean background with how I was raised by my dad. Some of the stuff I'd be like, if that was my daddy, he'd have been did this already. So it kind of like makes it a lot harder, a whole lot harder. And it's just like, ooh, can we survive it?
For context, guys, your boyfriend, he's American, born in Atlanta.
Yes, he was born and raised in Atlanta. With a South Carolina background.
Okay. That is tough. I personally avoid dating American men for those same challenges.
I tried.
And I'm not saying that you should avoid, so I'm glad.
Girl, I tried.
I am glad though that, you are in a happy relationship, regardless of the nationality and their background. That is definitely important. And I think the nationality and background is minimal compared to being in a happy, healthy relationship.
That's true.
I think I avoid it for those same reasons, because it is hard to navigate. When people don't understand where your background is coming from off rip, and you have to like explain every minute, like, hey, I do this way because that's how I was raised. Versus when you're dating someone from your same culture, it's like, if you see me do that, you already know what's up. Just fall in line and call it a day.
I could agree with that. A lot, but I will say this though, it also depends on the person you're dating too. Because I've been in previous relationship with Americans not trying to badmouth anybody. And it was just like, they look at me weird. Like certain things I do, they look at me very weird. Okay, perfect example was how we separate. Like when we're cleaning chicken, we'll have like a specific bowl just for the that chicken. And they'll be like, oh, you can use this container here, and I'll be like, no, because that's raw meat. Like, why would you want to, you gonna use that bowl to put your regular food in there? You just want your chicken in there? No, that's a no. So I've had those challenges, and I will say it just depends on the relationship.
Okay.
A lot. It really depends on the relationship, and it really depends on the person except for who you are with your culture.
Okay. That, and I think what's also important when it comes on to the person is if they have experienced things outside of their own culture.
That's true.
Because whenever I do date outside of my culture, I always make sure that person has experienced somewhere other than where they're born and raised.
That's true.
Because then that gives them a little bit of context, like, okay, not everyone operates the same. Things are going to be different. So, like, let me learn, let me observe, or, you know, let me not be judgmental or make this person feel some type of way for doing something different than I do.
Yeah, but they have to travel the world, though.
Yeah, no, I literally make sure. Those are the ones. If you have never left Atlanta.
If you ain't left the United States. Atlanta,
true. Yeah, if you've never left the States, yes. You had to have experienced a different country. And so that's literally one of the things that I look for when I was dating. I mean, I'm in a relationship now where I don't have to worry about that, but it was important to me that you had some experience outside of what your norm. And I think that's important for an individual's growth when it comes down to navigating any type of relationship. Right? Because if you're only stick to one thing in one way, you're always going to be judging or communicating from those lens and those lens alone. And that's going to make communication hard if you're only looking from one lens.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Now, what are some challenges that you have faced now actually, before I get to that question, it's most times like we're operating in our masculine energy as a survival mechanism. Can you share how that has showed up in your past relationships? Where it's like you feel like you have to take the lead, you got to get up and do it.
Providing. I would say with the past relationship with my daughter's father, I would say that was one of the most challenging situations because at that point in time in my life, I was 20 when I had her. And it was like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm having this kid. It's not even me. We are having this kid. What are we planning on doing? And it was just like, you're still thinking you're a kid. So at this point in time, I had to look at it like, it's nothing I can do. She's coming. So I had to say, okay, it's time for me to make a plan, get on my grind. Because at the end of the day, I still have to provide for this human being that don't ask to be here. So I will say, yes, that my masculine energy really, I think, that's the reason why I don't know how to put down that energy because it's you like
it in that relationship.
Yeah, in that relationship, but it's also became like a bad habit because it's like I don't know. I'm struggling now in my relationship to like
take a back seat and let him
be a girl. Like I don't know how to do none of that because it was just like
you were forced to.
Yeah, I was forced to like you gotta make sure she have this, make sure this is done, make sure there's a roof over her head, make sure she got everything she needs. Where she's never in want of anything. So it kind of makes it hard.
Yeah. And where do you think that example came from for you? Thinking back in your family background. This is kind of like
I'm going to be honest with you. It never showed in my family background because my dad is not that person. My mom was a housewife. She don't know nothing about doing that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is something I had to learn on my own. It was more so me saying, actually, I took on my dad's role. It was more so my dad never made me or my sister or aunt went for nothing.
Interesting.
Seeing him, I can tell you this, every Saturday, my mom will have her money on the table where she got food to buy money for groceries. The bills are getting paid. She even get her own little pocket money.
Oh, wow.
So these are the things that I'm used to seeing. So I took on his role. I might not have done everything he did, but I had to basically play both roles because of my daughter. Because it's like, I was in a predicament where it's either I provide for her or I'm going to lose her. Because people are going to look at you and be like, oh, you're not doing what you need to do for this kid. Right. Then here comes the state.
Right.
So I had to make those decisions. And my decision was, I just got to step in it.
That's interesting. And we talk a lot, guys, and I've never heard that part of your story. I didn't realize that was the dynamics between your mom and your dad. And mine is actually different. So I'm so glad that yours is different from mine, so we can put things into perspective for the whole point of this episode. And y'all, we had some tea brewing, right? So we're getting ready to pour up the tea too while I jump into the next part. So for my dynamics, my dad wasn't really in the picture so much as he just wasn't in the picture, right? I had a stepdad when I was 11 years old. So before that, all I knew was my mom playing the male role, or both roles, but most is a male role, right? When you have two roles, one has to be more dominant. And of course, that ends up being the man because he's the leader, he's the provider, and all the things that are essential for the family dynamic. So seeing my mom be that role, I was naturally that way as well. My determination, my strength, and all of that stuff came from watching my mom do it, and not having to ask anyone for help. And even then, like, my mom has about 7 brothers. Don't quote me on it. It might be 6. I think it's 7 siblings. No,
including her.
Yeah. So, and they're my aunt. So 2 girls and then 5 boys. So she has 5 brothers on my mom's side. And she's not the oldest, but she's the most responsible. So I saw even the men in our family leaning towards her for leadership, right? Not saying that they couldn't, but it's because she took the initiative, right? She took it on, and everybody just kind of just fall in line in a sense. You know, everybody doing their own little thing. So naturally, I'm just like, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to ask for no help. We're going to get it done. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to be determined, and we're not going to wait on anyone else to help us, because it needs to get done. The kids got to eat. You know, it's the same thing. So again, seeing your perspective and realizing that it came from you now being in a relationship where you didn't have a choice but to step into that role because of the partner you were dealing with at the time. And which brings me to the point of, like, because a lot of times, right, and this is right here is for you guys, a lot of times you guys are bashing women for being in their masculine energy, saying that, like, oh, they want to be the men so bad, boom, 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 when you don't even realize why they had to be masculine. So one, take some time to figure out why she has to be masculine, or why she's more in her masculine energy before you beat her down, right? That's one.
That's true.
And then, you know, realizing that you had to do that as a survival mechanism, and it became your norm for so long that now every time you're entering relationships, you're like, all right, well, shoot, what we about to do? I got to pull my pants up because that's all I know how to do.
Exactly. It's like we don't never know how to, like, relax. And because it's like one of those things, if we see a plan and we relax on it and we don't see the motions of it, we're going to step right in. We get annoyed and we're going to step right in.
It has to be done.
It's just like, I call it natural nature at this point. And it's like, it's one of the hardest things to break, because I am battling with that.
That is true.
And sometimes I wish I could just be courtesy and just be all cute and just sit back and just.
It's coming. You are cute.
Like, no, I just want to be in La La Land.
I get you.
You know how I've seen women in relationships and they just
turn their brain off because they can trust their man to lead.
Exactly. And I would love one day I'm at that place.
Which brings me to my next point, which is, you know, you were forced to be in your masculine energy because of the partner you had then, right? With your daughter's father. And now you're in a relationship where you are wanting to trust a partner, and he is someone that you can trust, but it's taking you some time to get here, right? So, man, you have to give the woman grace, and more importantly than giving her grace, you have to create the environment to where she feels safe enough to let her guard down, to feel soft, to, you know, leaning into more of her feminine energy, because it's not easy to do, right?
Especially if we're used to being a protector of another human being. That makes it the hardest.
Okay.
Because we're so busy protecting the little person. So.
Yeah. Because when priorities come in there, oh my God.
Hi, we have a visitor, guys. Hi, Domino.
I was trying to cut this part out, but we can let it stay in there. Hi, Domino.
Yes, hi, Domino.
Domino in. No.
We gotta go in.
We're recording. Probably call her in. We're gonna just take a sippy break at this point. In. So guys, we're drinking some a mix of ginger tea, elderberries, actual elderberries there in the steamer here. And some ashwagandha root, and some neem leaf.
Yeah, she didn't believe me when I said the neem is bitter.
But I promise you I had it and it wasn't bitter because I've been drinking it. Well, with just some ashwagandha root and some honey.
Well, you probably put more today.
Or maybe my palate, I did put more today.
That's probably what it is.
Because I'm normally making a small cup for myself because I don't give Nathaniel because he's not big on green tea. And when he does, I'll give him peppermint. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that's probably what it is. But it's not bad though. It's not. I might have to get me one of them little bougie pots.
So again, now back to my point. I think I was driving it home too. Is that when it comes on to building healthy relationships, right? For the sake of the family dynamic, it's up to both us as women,
yes,
and as men. It's up to the men as well, because men, you guys have to check your friends. Check your boys, right? Help them to understand certain things as well. It's the same way I've done with her. Like I'm not perfect, right? But I've come into a space where I'm in a healthy relationship where I do feel safe enough to lean into my feminine energy, and I try. Right, I'm willingly trying.
She checked me plenty of times, and because I am the hard ass. Pardon my French, but I am. It's plenty of times I have to go to her with my little scenarios, and she be like, "Well, da 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 da," and I'm like, "Okay."
So it's important to have those friendships where you can talk about things and checking your friends. And I really do appreciate you for not feeling any type of way and being receptive to when I've checked you because I've never checked you before. You're a little bit older than me, not by much. So normally I'm used to being right. You gotta, I'm used to that mindset of like, you stay in a kid's place. You don't talk to adults a certain type of way or those who are older than you, right? You put respect. That's again, a whole nother topic for a different day. So when
actually that's a topic that's going to happen in
the next episode. Yes, there we go.
Next episode.
So because the first time when I kind of checked you, it wasn't planned. It was I was in a space. We were all me, her, and her boyfriend were in the same space. We were doing something, and she did something she did something that was her stepping into her masculine energy while he was just trying to be in his role as well and helpful. And I'm just like, nah, you're not gonna do that man like that. And that was also my first time. No, that was my first time meeting him. But I knew he was happy. I know she's happy in the relationship. And I'm just like, if we're gonna
stay in this relationship,
we have to do our part.
Yes.
Right? So the premise of all of that is that like be okay with checking people. And again, I appreciate you for accepting being receptive of being checked and wanting to intentionally work on it. So this is also for him, right? He better watch this episode, okay? She is trying, okay? So be patient with her, and in the same breath, you have to do your part, right? To create that same environment. So we all have things that we can work on, right? Nobody's perfect. So take some time to self-assess and see like, okay, what areas can I improve in? Like, how can I make her feel safer to be soft and to allow me to lead? And a next point is you guys want to lead. That's another conversation that I hear happen too much on social media is men saying like, oh, women don't know how to follow lead and be submissive. But yet, so where are you leading us to? You have no idea where you're going. But yet, so you want to be upset that she doesn't fall in line. First of all, sir, I'm sorry that I'm coming for you. I'm getting a little bit passionate on this part of it because it happens. You guys are too loud on social media trying to check women when you don't even know how to lead.
Your direction you're going.
Okay? Right. Just because you're an adult male does not make you a man. Okay?
Exactly.
Sit on that one for a minute. Exactly. But yeah, so I'm going to take another sip here of my tea on that one.
Because that's a real valid point. Because all you ever hear about is men keep saying, oh, women nowadays, that's why black women can't keep a man, because black women cannot do what the Caucasian parties do. Caucasian women let a man be a man and we lead and whatever. Okay. That's cool and very much understandable. But at the same time, as Black women, we are always the one that to end up getting the fall short on everything. So we need to know that, okay, if you're leading us to this direction,
I can trust
we need to know that, okay, babe, this is my goals. This is where I'm leading. We're planning on going. Just let us work together and get there. Then as a woman, we can sit back and trust that, okay, well, this is his plans. And if there's ever a point in time where you're choosing to change that plan, let's revisit that drawing board.
Exactly.
Don't change the plan in your brain and then go expect us to follow. It's not going to happen.
And I'm just going to add a little bit of a correction there. And you said we're going to just sit back. No, we're going to be supportive. Right?
Yeah, that's
the woman's role. If there's a plan, we communicate that, say, okay, we have an end goal, our end goal aligned as partners, and you're saying this is the vehicle I want to take to get us there, babe. Trust me. Okay, cool, babe. I'm gonna trust you. What you need me to do? And then that way, now that I trust you to lead, I can be able to support you the best way that I can for us to achieve that goal, right? Or if it's like both of us have goals that we're working together and we can be both supportive, right? Because a lot of times too, we still have things that we want to do
achieve and go. Yes,
so
that is true.
It's important for the communication to be had, to be clear on that goal, so we can trust that, okay, we're doing it. And then on top of setting the goal, don't just set the goal and not get up and do anything.
True.
Because I'm not going to trust you to get it done. Exactly. And then now I'm going to get frustrated, and now I'm going to have to jump into my masculine energy. Like, let's say it's something simple like, I don't want to pick on anything that we've experienced to pick on, because I don't want to pick on no one in particular.
I got one for you if you want me to.
No, I know we're not attacking no one here. This is a good, healthy family show where we are just pouring up tea that's good for your consumption.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
We're not what is it? Spilling tea. We don't spill tea here. We pour up tea that's good for your consumption. So a next question here I have is, how do you navigate now balancing being an independent woman, especially you're a business owner? How do you balance that and then allowing your partner for a space to lead or support you in your relationship?
I am still struggling with that. It has been a very hard struggle, but I feel day by day it'll get there.
Okay.
But I will say support, yes, in the sense of like so as a business owner, we face challenges throughout the year, as in where business go up and down. So there are plenty of times where if business is slow, I'm ready to quit. But he will be like, babe, you have it. Where some people cannot like go out here and just have a actual business. You have had a business for all these years. Why are you going to go work for somebody?
Right.
Spend the time to build your business. So he will give me positive things that I need at a very important point in time. Because I promise you every day I'll be going to quit. But he'll give me that positive things that I need to make me say, you know what? I need to sit back, create my plans, and do what I need to do. And he's always have been like, what do you need help with? So I can help you get there.
Support.
Yes. So I would say yes. That's been still a struggle for me.
Okay. And I can definitely understand that, especially with you like focused on business before you had met him. So you in that business role, you had a more of your masculine energy for that business approach of getting things done and, being that logical thinker and being the provider for your daughter before he stepped into the picture. Yeah. So I definitely get how that is a struggle. So I'm going to share a little bit how I have been kind of like balancing. For me, it's self-assessment. Right? I check myself. I know that I was more in my masculine energy than I am, now. And I would joke with my boyfriend now and be like, oh, I'm a real ninja. And, we'll laugh about it while I'm sitting in the passenger seat and he's driving. Right? So it's like,
While you're a princess passenger, right?
Right. So I'll say it out loud to remind myself like, okay, yes, I do have this masculine persona where it's just like, oh, I'm a real ninja, but we'll joke about it. And then while he's, either helping me bring in the bags of groceries or stuff like that. So saying it out loud reminds me that, hey, you have a lot of masculine energy. Now you're in a safe space where you can even joke about that. You know what I'm saying? Because to be in a safe place is like joke about it. And he's not like thinking like, oh, this girl she tripping. She's doing a little bit too much and she is masculine. Let me walk away and go find somebody more soft and delicate. So being in that safe space to be able to express myself with my jokes, my corny jokes. If y'all don't know by now, I have a lot of those. So because I'm in that safe space, so it definitely plays a lot on him providing that safe space for me to be able to lean into my feminine self. So self-assessment, talking to myself, like reminding myself, like, hey, you do not have to do that. He's willing to do it for you, right?
That's my biggest struggle.
There was a moment where we were on the road together, and I went and got some groceries, and we don't live together, right? But he came back to the house with me, and normally when I'm taking the groceries out, I'm that person. I'm making one trip. No, to bring it inside the house. I'm not going back in the car to come back, especially if it's the wintertime. I'm making one trip from the car to the house. I don't care how many grocery bags I have, okay? I'm all of them. And I think probably like the first time, that happened, and we were coming home, and he's like, he's getting ready to get the bags, and I'm picking up all of them, and he's looking at, and he's so patient too. I really appreciate him so much. But I stopped myself, and I left all them bags there, and I went inside the house. It wasn't that hard for me to do.
Purpose, but it was just like
it wasn't that hard for me to do, but it was hard because I'm like, we can just get this done if I just do what I normally do, and we get inside and we can close the door and be done and go on to the next part, right? But I'm just like, you have someone here willing to do it for you. Take a step back. Let him take the bags. And I apply that to every other small things, and it's those small little things, and they've grown into more. Now, I do not even really like driving nowhere. I don't have to drive. No, if we're going together, I don't have to drive. And I appreciate that so much because when I'm behind the wheel,
if y'all over this.
And I think they know because there's a lot of women who can relate, right? Because you'll see those those little videos on Instagram or TikTok when she's behind the wheel and the music is playing, trap music is playing, and she leaned back in the seat. That's me, okay? Majority of the time.
Your masculine stuff.
So having to sit in the car seat and not be in control of where we're going, it was not easy. But over time of, allowing him to be, he's not going to let me drive anyways, but over time, him, again, stepping into that role of the man in the relationship and always, always driving, it just allowed me to be like, okay, well, I guess I'll just sit here. What are we listening to today? And type of stuff like that. So that has helped me kind of like balancing being the independent woman. And it helps too that the relationship is new. So I get to take my time and still be independent when he's not around. Right? Because I still go grocery shopping when he's not around. So I'm still carrying all the bags in at once. So I still get to be that version of me.
Hold on, you ain't learned nothing to just take the amount that you can carry?
But that's what I'm saying. If he's not, I'm still going to take all the bags. Not the amount that I can carry. I'm still going to take all the bags because I'm not coming back outside. That's more of a just I don't know if it's kind of like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Get it done quick.
A motivated laziness. Because I don't want to come back outside. I'm motivated to just get it all in one trip.
I can feel that.
Okay. So now looking ahead, what does a healthy, balanced version of yourself look like in a relationship where both energies coexist harmoniously? So what does that look like for you? Paint the picture. Because right now we're literally going to paint the picture and setting the intention. And you're going to walk into it. You're going to step into it. Okay.
If I should say happiness. I feel like if I can actually balance both of those, it will be a lot easier for me. Because I'm the type of person, I carry a lot on my shoulders. Even though I have somebody else there that will take some of it from me, it's just for some reason, this is normal. So I'm just be like, I gotta do it. So I feel like for me, it will bring me to a different mental space and it would also bring me to a happier place.
Okay.
Which it's going to take time. But you know what? I'm going to take that advice about self-assessment. Yes, I'm going to do that. I might start the journal with that. Each day I write down something that I need to.
That you acknowledge about yourself. Yeah. And we know our faults. We know our own flaws because we do them every day.
Acknowledging it.
That part.
That's the problem.
That part. That's where you got to do the work. And I think a lot of times too, people, we just walk around and be like, hey, this is who I am. Just accept it and call it a day. One, you don't have to accept who you are. Right. And sometimes you don't truly accept who you are. You just avoid the parts of you that you do not like so much because you don't want to have to do the work. Right? So don't force other people to accept you for who you are when you truly don't yourself. Right? I don't know who I'm talking to on that one, but so we're going to pretty much wrap it up there. That was the the ideal question. No. So the last question is, what advice now would you give a woman out there who is struggling with embracing her feminine energy that can help her along her journey?
Pray. That's the best advice I can give you.
And that's it right there, guys. It's a wrap, folks. I think that is like really probably the best thing to end it on is like really praying. That definitely has helped me as well. So praying for what you want, praying for that vision of the woman that you want to become, praying for the vision of the man that you want to attract. If you're already in a relationship, praying together of what you want your dynamics to look like, especially if you don't have children yet and you're wanting to raise children. And get clear. It does. So get clear on that vision before you bring the kids into a dysfunctional dynamic. Okay.
Amen.
And thank you guys for watching this full episode of the group chat. Thank you, Yanique. I'm sorry. No. Wait, before you come at me, before you come at me,
I know exactly what you was gonna say.
What was I gonna say?
You was gonna say thank you, Yaya.
No, I wasn't gonna say Yaya. I was gonna say Unaya. Her daughter's name is Unaya. And I actually need her to come do this for me as well. Before we wrap up, guys, I almost forgot the most important part, because we do have another episode to do, and we're going to take an intermission here where she has to drop her daughter off to
I have to go be a parent, guys.
Yeah, she has to drop her daughter off to practice, and then she's going to come back and we're going to do a second episode. So, but that's why, like, I'm glad that I accidentally said your daughter's name, because I need her to do me something real quick. So I'm literally calling her daughter, who is inside the house. Oh, I'm about to. Okay, so I'm gonna run back the end of this episode, guys. Because before I forget, this is the first episode I'm recording in my new space. So yay! And I wanted to start off the new year with a few new things. There has been a lot of newness in life, and I haven't been the most consistent here with the podcast. So I want to be very intentional with the time that I do use here when I am in the studio. So we got the tea set up, and now Unaya, come on out. I want to really thank you, for coming here on this episode. And you can come over a little bit so she can sit down. And there's something like, in the world where we always have to talk about giving people their flowers. And wanting to do so.
And I love flowers too. As you get older, because when I was younger, I used to hate flowers. But as I get older, I love flowers. I'm going to put these in my bag. No, you cannot touch it, because I know you.
What do you mean, touch it?
Okay.
I've been touching it this whole time.
You can say hi, Unaya. So this is her daughter, Unaya. And again, I just wanted to give you your flowers now. Right now, having to wait until the end of our journey. Because it is important for you to know that, you are important, you are loved, and you are doing an awesome job raising a wonderful daughter. And I'm not going to go too much before you start crying on here.
Please don't.
Yeah, so thank you for chatting with me here in the group chat. You guys will see her for another episode. And
bye.
Until next time.